Shalom, Yasha'Allah, Shalom, Shalom. Call Lawyer How, Ba Shama Mashiach, Omalaki Abashah, Rabaka Kadash, Tazuan Kabaka, Ba Miss Kwan Wa, Commission Allah, Habatamakim Wa Akwa. Hey man, we back at it with another Sirach series, chapter 29. Let's get straight into it. Sirach series 29. Let's get straight into it. Okay, let's read. It says, He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that stretcheth his hand keepeth the commandments. Lend to thy neighbor in time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. Right, so charity is much important, man. Charity is something that I pray personally. Me personally is something that I pray for that most I can increase me with, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we touched on charity a couple chapters ago when we read about how when you're an older man, you're supposed to be fervent in charity. You know what I'm saying? Because you had the time on this earth for you to be able to go out and to get the means to be able to give charity. You understand that? Hey, man, charity is very important. Let's get this precept in Proverbs 19 and 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. So, hey, when you give to the poor, right, when you give charity to people that are in need, man, you giving it to the Lord. You understand that? You giving it to the Lord. Yeah, it's because, like, hey, we're the Lord's people. Father, we're the Lord's people. So when you give something to a person that's in need, it's like you helping out the nation, right? Helping out the nation is like helping out the Lord, man. Because that's what the Lord is about, building up our nation. Follow? Let's get on the precept in Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 10. 13 verse 2. It says, Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some hath entertained angels unawares, man. Right, so when you entertain strangers and when you entertain angels, when you entertaining strangers, you could be entertaining angels unawares, man. You understand that? Because you never know. You understand that? It's like it's so many people, you know what I'm saying, that you walk by on a day-to-day basis. So many people that you, you know what I'm saying, you have personal interactions with on a day-to-day basis. You know, sometimes you might not be in the best spirit, right? Sometimes you might not have the best mindset, or you might be angry, you might be down, or whatever. But you gotta understand, the human beings or the individuals that's around you, you understand that? You gotta keep mind of these things, right? It could be angels amongst you, right? Because you didn't want to hold the door for one person, that was an angel, right? You close the door in their face. Follow? Right? Because you saw one poor person, right? You didn't give charity to him. Hey, that was an angel you didn't give charity to. You got just take a high level of discernment, right? And much humbleness. Let's read on. It says, Keep thy word and deal faithfully with him, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee. So as a man, when you're keeping your word, for one, right? And when you're always humble enough to give to people that need it more than you, you're always going to find what's necessary for you. You understand that? You're always going to find what's necessary for you, right? You're never going to be begging bread, as it tells you in Sirach, right? In Psalm. It says, Many, when a thing was lent to them, reckoned it to be found, but put them to trouble that helped them. Till he have received, he will kiss a man's hand, and for his neighbor's money he will speak submissively. But when he should repay, he will prolong the time, and return words of grief, and complain of the time. Right? Because remember, one, the Most High hates a poor, proud man. Two, we talked about how in Sirach 13, the whole chapter was talking about how to righteously get your money, right? How to righteously, you know what I'm saying, handle your business. How to righteously get to the bag, right? That's what we're doing. It says, verse number 6. It says, If he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half, and he will count as if he had found it. If not, he have deprived him of his money, and he hath begotten him an enemy without cause. He payeth him with cursings and railings, and for honor he will pay him disgrace. Verse 7. Many therefore have it says, verse 7, many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing. Right? It says, many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing, fearing to be defrauded. Yet have thou patience with a man in poor estate, and delay not to shew him mercy. Right? So, when you're teaching, this is a precept to prove when you're teaching, right? Or when you drop a couple precepts when a brother or a sister, right, that's in need, right, physically and spiritually, that's charity. Let's read that again. It says, yet have thou patience with a man in poor estate, and delay not to shew him mercy. Right? You can't delay to shew your people mercy. Right? You gotta have patience with your people that's in a low estate. Because our people are in a low estate, man. You understand that? Our people bugged out on drugs, all of that. You follow? So when you're dealing with our people, when you're dealing with our people, you got to have patience, man. You gotta have patience on your neighbor. You follow? Because you don't want to hate your brother, right? The only way you want to hurry up and get it over with and hurry up and leave it alone is if you hate your people, right? What this is going into, man, you got to look at your brothers and you got to look at your sisters like you look at the Lord. I believe that's Matthew the 23rd chapter. You have to look at your people around you, of your nation, like you look at the Lord. Because that's all the Lord was about, living his life for the nation, right? For the people that's around it, right? The second greatest commandment is to love your brother as you love yourself. You follow? Verse 9. It says, help the poor for the commandment's sake, and turn him not away because of his poverty. All right, so you got to help your brother to enable him to at least keep the commandments. You understand that? Hey, if you have a brother, he's in the truth, and he might not have the physical means, the defense means to keep the commandments, help that brother out. He don't got no fringes, sew that brother some fringes, man. You follow? Help that brother out. It says help the poor for the commandment's sake. Right? Here it is, your brother trying to keep the commandments, and you don't want to give him a couple dollars so he can keep the commandments, man. That's off. It says, loose thy money for thy brother and thy friend. Loose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost. Lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold. Right, because what is that talking about? Right. It says, lay up thy treasures for the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold, man. Right? And it says, no, that's not what I want. Matthew chapter 5. Let me find it. So again. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt. Right? Because remember, Sirach said in verse 10, loose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost. Matthew 6 and 19. Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. Right? It says, for where also your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Right? So it says, lay up your treasures according to the commandments. That's a commandment. Right? So you have to lay up your treasure. And what it means to lay your treasures in heaven, meaning like, hey, man, you betting on the kingdom of heaven. You follow? Like, man, hey, man, all right, listen. To keep it a stack with you, you can make future plans, right? There's nothing wrong with making future plans. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and graduate, right? Most high willing, I'm going to go ahead and do X, Y, Z. Hey, but at the end of the day, that's if we still here, right? Because my treasure is me not being here. But while I'm here, I'm going to use my brain, right, and move in wisdom. You follow? While I'm here, I'm going to use my brain and move in wisdom and do what I got to do to survive. You follow? But hey, that's all predicated upon, hey, if we still here, if Yahweh Shai don't come back yet. That's what it means to lay your treasures in heaven. Not to be over righteous and to think you just can't plan nothing for your future. Right? Not to be over righteous and to think you can just never do anything. You got to be poor. You follow? You don't have to be poor. There's no commandment saying you have to be poor, right, when you're in captivity. You follow? You can make your plans, but it's predicated upon if we still here, right? If the Lord hasn't returned, right? Whatever the Lord has planned for us. And we talk about self-justification all the time. Verse number 12. Shut up alms in thy storehouses, and it shall deliver thee from all affliction, right? So when you giving alms, it's going to deliver you from affliction, man. You being patient with your people, hey, that's going to help you get you whatever you want. It shall fight for thee against thy enemies, better than a mighty shield and a strong spear. An honest man is surety for his neighbor, but he that is impudent will forsake him. Forget not the friendship of thy surety, for he hath given his life for thee. Hey, this is a precept to Sirach 10, Sirach 9 and 10, when it says, forsake not an old friend. Let me read that again. It says, forget not the friendship of thy surety, for he hath given his life for thee, right? So your surety is like the friendship that you can trust in, right? This friendship that's predicated upon love and loyalty. You follow? It says, a sinner will overthrow the good estate of his surety. And because a sinner, he's gonna just manipulate his friend, right? A sinner, he's gonna manipulate his neighbor, right? He's just gonna use people for whatever he want to use them for, right? It says, and he that is off an unthankful mind will leave him in danger that delivered him. Suretyship hath undone many of good estate, and shaken them as a wave of the sea. Mighty men hath it driven from their houses, so that they wandered among the strange nations. A wicked man transgressing the commandments of the Lord shall fall into suretyship. So like it says, suretyship. It says, and he that undertaketh and he that undertaketh and followeth other men's business for gain shall fall into suits. Let's read that again. A wicked man transgressing the commandments of the Lord shall fall into suretyship. And he that undertaketh and followeth other men's business for gain shall fall into suits, man. Meaning what? So a wicked man that's breaking the commandments of the Most High God, you understand that? He's gonna fall into relationships where he's gonna continue to just manipulate people, right? Because when you go up to verse number 17, and he that is an unthankful mind will leave him in danger that delivered him, right? And you read on the second half of verse 18, it says, mighty men hath it driven from their houses, so that they, so like you read on in verse 19, it says, and he that undertaketh and followeth other men's business for gain shall fall into suits, man. You understand that? Because you kind of just riding the wave, right? This is a precept to tell you can't just ride the wave. You can't, right? We say that in the world. You can't just be riding waves, right? Whatever is popular, you hop on it. Whatever money training is going on, you hop on it. You don't care who you manipulating. You don't care who you using. You don't care what relationships you building, who you building relationships with. You just hop on that thing. Or you can't do that according to this truth, right? Back in the day, they used to do these damn Cash App circles, right? You just meeting random new people, right? Getting Cash App circles. You understand that? But the whole time it's a scam, right? You want to be able to have a suretyship with whoever you get in business with, right? Now, we in captivity, dealing with Esau, it just happens, right? And sometimes you might meet, people you may not know. You understand that? But you got to have discernment, because it says, and he that undertaketh and followeth other men's business for gain shall fall into suits. All right, so this is the brother that's just hopping on quick stuff, right? Hopping on quick stuff, he can just manipulate, use, whatever, and dip off, man. You follow? That's not talking about, you know what I'm saying, you got an actual business opportunity and you meeting somebody to increase your business, right, or whatever it may be. You understand that? Let's read on. It says, help thy neighbor according to thy power, and beware that thou thyself fall not into the same, right? So, when you giving to your neighbor, right, you help them according to your power, and you should have that mindset, like, damn, man, that could be me. I need to stay diligent, right, with the Lord. The chief thing for life is water, and bread and clothing, and an house to cover shame, right? That's the chief thing. That's all you need. Like, when you think about it, that's all you really need in this life. That's all you really need. It says the chief thing for life is water. You need water, first of all. And bread. You need, you know what I'm saying, food, drink. It says, and clothing, right? Because you got to cover yourself so you can be cold. Cool, you know what I'm saying, cool or warm. It says, and in a house to cover shame. You understand that? So a house meaning like a dwelling place, man. A dwelling place where you can lay your head at. That's all you really need in this life to actually survive, right? That's all you really need, but, you know what I'm saying, you got to pay bills and all this other stuff. It says, better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage. Better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house. But be it little or much, hold thee contented. Right? So like it says, be it little or much, hold thee contented, that thou hear not the reproach of thy house. Right? So be content unless you down. Be content before the Most High take whatever you got because you was taking it for granted. It says, for it is a miserable life to go from house to house. For where thou art a stranger, thou darest not open thy mouth. And you living in somebody else's crib, right? You kind of got to kick it at somebody else's crib, right? Because you lost your situation. Hey, don't even open your mouth. You can't say, hey, brother, I don't like when y'all leave the toilet open. You don't even belong here. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? That's a miserable life living house to house when you can't have your own, you know what I'm saying, situation going on. It says, thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks. Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words, right? Because you eating with them and you feasted with them, they don't tell you thank you, right? Nobody's going to say, yeah, thanks for being here. Nobody's going to say that. You don't belong here. You follow? But, you know, at the end of the day, if you really don't know how to act, they're going to give you bitter words. Like, damn, this nigga eating all the fucking, this man eating all the food, right? Man, he eating all the food, right? You're going to get bitter words, right? And that was a bitter word that came out of my mouth. That's the spirit, right? It says, right, it says, come, thou stranger, and furnish a table, and feed me of that thou hast ready. Give place, thou stranger, to an honorable man. My brother cometh to be lodged, and I have need of mine house. These things are grievous to a man of understanding, the upbraiding of a house house room, and reproaching of the leader. Man. Right, so, hey man, through the spirit, you always want to be able to give some type of charity. Right, you always want to be able to lend to your neighbor in wisdom, man. Right, this is lended to your labor in wisdom 2.0, because this is more in depth. Right, this is more in depth on how to lend to your neighbor, and if you are that neighbor that somebody's lended to, how to be humble, right? Or if you are that brother that's trying to get into different opportunities and see what's going on for a better situation, this is how to do that, man. Right, so this is in depth with lending to your neighbor, right, and just having charity, right? I'm just laboring charity 2.0, right? How to actually give charity, how to receive charity, how to view charity. You follow how to act when you get charity, how to act when you giving charity, man. You follow? Everything should be in secret with a humble and meek spirit. Let me get this last precept. In Matthew chapter 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven, man. Alright, so don't be doing your alms just to be seen before men, but actually lend to your brother as you lend to the Lord. And with that, shalom, inshallah, shalom, shalom. Once I want, I see y'all for Sirach 30. Shalom.